Hi, everybody. It's me, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC, the creators of AthleticSOS. So today I want to talk about, you've done everything right. You want to get this athletic scholarship. You've done everything you're supposed to do. You got your grades together. You took the right courses. You got your SAT, ACT taken care of. You've got to exposure. Some colleges are interested in you. Everything seems to be going right. You've done your homework. You've done everything you're supposed to do. And I'm just going to say to you, too bad. Because there is so much confusion going on right now as far as college and athletic scholarships and where the future is going. So if you're a young high school student, you're just going to go through a bunch of nonsense right now. So if you guys have been paying attention, there's been so many crazy rule changes going on at the NCAA level. Another court just blocked the fact that you can get an NIL deal before you go to college. You could make up a deal. So they kind of broke that up, because here's the problem with the NCAA and some of these rules that are going in and out on whether you can get, you could get paid for your name, image, and likeness prior to college. It's going state by state. All these rules are going state by state. Some states are like, hey, go for it. And then even at the college level, there is a particular college, and I don't know the name of it. I know it starts with the D, but anyway, they just came up with that their men's basketball team, and this is at the D1 level, which is the big problem here, that they are considered employees of the university, which means they can get bargaining rights and create a union, which can talk about their wages and their time off and what happens if they get fired, basically thrown off the team. All of this stuff is coming at such a lightning pace that it's just going to change the whole dynamic as you move through. If you're a ninth grader, it will be a completely different world by the time you get to your time to be able to get, your senior year and you're ready to get an athletic scholarship. So this comes down to, okay, what do I do? How do I navigate all of this? Maybe as a parent, maybe as the student athlete, what should I be looking for? What should I do? I think what we want to do, and this is where I was trying to take us anyway, is that let's forget all of that for right now. We don't know what the horizon is. We don't know what changes they're going to come up with. We don't know what's next. There's no way for us to pull all of that together ourselves. But here's what we can do. We can start looking at this differently. And this is what I want you guys to start thinking about. As you're going through the process, let's say you're a junior high school kid or you're an early high school kid, let's start looking at this as the journey more important to the end. Yes, I want to get that athletic scholarship. Yes, I want to play varsity in high school. Yes, I want to be a star on that team. But what's our journey getting there look like? Have you picked up a bunch of assets on your way there? Have you checked your attitude? Are you the kind of kid that everybody kind of wants to be around? I don't mean you have to be super nice and all that, but are you taking your level, where you are right now as an athlete, and are you using that to help others out? That's all you have to really do, is to say, okay, I'm going to let some of this status that I have shine on the rest of you guys. And maybe you don't have it yet, but it's coming. Even amongst your friends, let's say you're on Frost Soft or you're a JV player, it's already there. It's just with your little network. But expand that network out. What's everybody else in your group doing? Try to get interested in some of their things, and then get them to come and work with you or come see your games, even if it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. You're not even on varsity yet. You're coming. You're working on your game. You just have to get them to come and visit you. If you're playing a sport that's not on your high school, even more important, get some of your friends to come out and watch your tournament or your whatever you're going to, your competition that you're doing. See if you can get them to come with you, and then go to some of the stuff that they like to do. And so now you're going to start building these bonds amongst people that are your friends. When you get to these events, and this is going to happen a lot for you guys as you go to these combines and showcases and viewing tournaments, start meeting some of the people that aren't on your squad, on your team, or not in your bracket, whatever it is. There's always downtime. There's always moments where you guys are just grabbing something to eat, or you're just you're working on something on the side. Say, hey, can you help me out with this? Maybe they are your competitor, but are they really your competitor? And these are the kind of things that you want to think about. These could be the people that later on you're going to reconnect with, and you guys are going to do some great stuff in the world. So those are some of the things that you should be thinking about and not worrying about so much what the NCAA and the NAIA are doing. NAIA seems to be pretty quiet. I don't hear a lot about them, but if you go ahead and Google them sometimes, changes and stuff, they're bringing a lot of stuff forward. The women's football is them. They really wholeheartedly really accepted that. So some of you girls, maybe it doesn't look like you're getting a scholarship for the sport you're playing. You're pretty good. You're a pretty good athlete, but it doesn't look like anything big is happening for you. go look at the women's football this spring and see if you can get connected with that. And that could be a secondary sport for you. Yes, you love the sport that you already play, but throw something else in there. NAIA is really pushing that. And the Olympics that are coming in 2028 are going to be featuring women's football as one of the new sports that they're bringing in. Great opportunity for that to get popular, and you'll be ahead of the game there. So that's really good for the girls that are in junior high school, maybe even elementary school, to kind of get into that world and see if they like it. If they don't like it, that's one thing, but at least give yourself the opportunity. And so we're going through this phase now of I'm an athlete, and what does the "and" stand for? Because that's where I want to take AthleticSOS. That's where I want to take Sports Solutions. That's where we're going with this thing. And I hope you guys want to ride this journey with me. It doesn't matter what they're doing. The NCAA, the NAIA, the NCAA in particular is going to look completely different. They are losing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. But one of the things I always try to tell you guys is, even though they're losing all these lawsuits, they are not sitting still. There are people within those organizations or around those organizations that are going to fix it so that they stay in the money. I'll put it that way. They're not going to lose completely, so don't think that's ever going to happen. And so if you don't worry about that, if you just worry about what you're doing, so if they do say, hey, you can go ahead and get something for your name, image, and likeness, just remember, look at your state laws. They're more important at this point than what the NCAA is doing, because I know in California, you can already make money from your name, image, and likeness. You just can't refer to your high school. You can't wear the uniforms. You can't say the name of your school and the team name and all of that. You have to stay away from that. Otherwise, you will hurt yourself and you won't be able to play on your high school team. But after your final season in high school, I think the sky's open for you. The world's opened up for you. You can kind of do whatever you need to do because you're not going to come back and play for that school again. You may be okay. But let's wait, because there's going to be appeals. So for all of these court actions, there's always going to be an appeal. The NCAA is going to appeal these things. Now, they're going to be starting to hurt for money at some point. They cannot keep doing this if it's state by state. And these are federal judges now starting to make these decisions, and they're following what the Supreme Court already said about this. So there's only so much money to go around, even for the NCAA. At some point, they're going to cry uncle and let it go. They're trying to get the Senate to come up with something to kind of fix it across the country, but that's not even here yet. From what I understand, the Senate's not interested. They got other stuff to worry about, and they kept warning the NCAA about some of their rules, and no one was listening, right? Because when you're winning, and when you're losing, you go and ask for help. And so I think that's where that world is. But for you, all you have to do right now is say, okay, I am going to take control of my world. Because here's the one thing I will tell you, the future is bright. It's so wide open. The things you're going to be able to do for your life, for your family, is going to be amazing if you look at it that way. But if you look at it as negative, look what they did, look what they won't let me do, and all that kind of stuff, you're going to always be mired up for the next few years. There's just no way out of that. So the only thing that I worry about just a little, that all of these rules are going to get so complicated, some of your smaller schools, your NAIA, your D3s, maybe even your D2s for NCAA may start dropping some sports. It's just too much going on, right? With all of this going back and forth, are they employees? Because if that rides, then it's a whole different ball game, because you got to treat this completely different. How do you get a kid off of a team if everybody's an employee of the school? You know, there's going to be all these rules that are going to come in for the national labor organizations. So that could get a little bit tricky. But even then, there's always going to be some sports on a college campus. It just has to be. It's what gives those campuses vitality. And I know it looks right now, yeah, you go to school to get an education, but colleges are going to, at that point, without the sports and some of those other activities that bring everybody together, then you could have the colleges will start being online. Why are you paying all this money to go on a campus? You go on a campus for the feel, for that camaraderie, for that togetherness. And sports is what makes that happen. That's why it's so important. Yes, it brings some money in, and so for some colleges, it costs them money, but it's still worth having on the campus because it just changes the vibe on the school grounds. And so for that, I think there will always be sports, but some of those auxiliary sports could go away. Title IX's got to be really, really careful here, because then you're going to run into the idea of, listen, we can't have all these sports. We're going to have to get rid of football to make everything even. And so some of the smaller schools might end up doing that. And that means the football scholarship numbers will drop precipitously, and you don't want that either. So everybody needs to be really, really careful what you're fighting for. We do want students to have rights, the student athletes to have rights, to control their image and make whatever they can off of all the hard work they've been doing all these years. But you got to make sure you don't get so far down the line to where the other side just goes, you know what, forget it. We can't do it. We can do this little thing over here, but we can't do the big thing we were doing before. It's just not worth it. We don't have the money. We don't have the capacity to pull all of this off. We quit, and you don't want that either. So something will happen as you move forward. You guys keep working on your game with the understanding that's where you want to get to. You want to go and play at the collegiate level, and go ahead and count on it as if it's going to be there. But if it is not there, that you did all of this other work before that, and you guys are going to keep playing some kind of way, you'll figure that out. But in the meantime, what else are we going to do? What are we going to get into? I got to go get this job over here because I got to make money and pay back to some of these school loans. But in the meantime, hey, let's get together. We had some ideas we talked about when we were 16, 17, 18, 19. Maybe they changed a little bit. Maybe somebody's got a better idea, but we're a crew. We're a team. We're hanging out together. If you get to college and you're playing at the college level, you want to do the same thing. Get out of the sports world and go over to the other parts of your campus and find out what people are doing. What are they into? Hey, I want in on this. What can I do? What can I contribute to this? And let's move forward. Create your own NIL deals, right? It's between you, your group. You guys came up with a great idea. You've got some of the status on the campus around that area. Hey, take your status with what they're doing and say, hey, let's start something. Nothing can stop us. We're on campus anyway. That's how Facebook got started, right? It was on a college campus. Again, you can do whatever you want to do, but you need to get a network with you. You need to get a group of people with you that you trust, that you believe are going somewhere. And the other thing is get away from that fear thing. Let's say you did everything that I told you, and then somebody's parents really smarter than you, their attorney or something, you guys got together, you did this thing, you didn't have all your paperwork right, and they kind of squeezed you out at the end. Just the idea of you going through all of this will get you ready for the next thing. You'll know what to look for as you move forward, but you'll understand business, you'll understand networks, you'll understand how to move on things, and that could be just as valuable. That's almost like part of your education that you're paying for anyway. So you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure your parents are involved in whatever you're trying to do. Make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, all of that stuff. But things are going to happen as you move forward, and this is why the most important thing you can do is choose the people that are going to be around you. To choose the people that are going to be in your family. Choose the people that you're going to, if you're thinking about getting married and all that, you got to really vet. Forget what everybody looks like or all of that. Who is it that you're bringing into your world? And that's what you're going to have to really get good at. That is the most important thing you can do. Keep at your sport. Look at different ways of separating yourself from everyone else. I think it's really important for you to have something that you are. So if whatever sport you're playing, this is the hustle person. This person will never quit. This person works harder than everybody else. This person's more skilled than everybody else in this area. And in this area, they're good at everything else, but they're really good at this one thing. Make it so that when that coach has to make that decision, that they can make that decision based on something that makes you special, stands out, that you could separate from everybody else that they're considering. And then the other thing I want you guys to remember is now with that transfer portal for everybody, including men's football and basketball, you can't really make a mistake. I mean, you could go to a school that may not necessarily have fit, but you thought it did. You did your due diligence. It didn't work out. You can still move again. You now have the place where you were on a college team. Maybe things didn't work out the way you want. You go in that transfer portal. Maybe a coach from another team in that conference saw you, or maybe somebody's looking for exactly what you do. But you can move around now. And so don't worry so much about that piece of it anymore. You're not stuck somewhere. But just remember, the school's not stuck with you either. So it goes both ways. All the stuff goes both ways. And so all I'm trying to tell you is never get into a situation where you think things are against you or so bad that you can't find your way out of it. That's really what we want for the rest of your life, for you to go, okay, here's where I am. I need to move on this thing. What are my options and opportunities? And you look for them. Remember, use AthleticSOS. We do not charge for the software. So down below, always, I give you a code. I give you instructions for how to use the code. You want to find a school that makes sense to you, that fits you, who you are, what you're doing. Your major is great, where it is, what the campus feels like. They walk you through the campus. We have a link in there. Once you look up a school, you can go to that campus, and they'll walk you through that campus almost in a 3D type of situation. Is it fit me? Is this where I want to be? I look at the players on the team. Are they players that match who I am? Or do they have the right person coming out the years that I'm thinking I'm going in? These are the kind of things you're looking for. I want you guys to start learning how to do that, but because it's gonna help you vet for other things as you move forward in life. This is where we are. This is where we're going. Stick with us a little bit more. I will come back next week and we'll get a little bit more into what's happening for the spring for sports. A lot of you guys are going to start joining travel club programs coming out of high school. And you guys are also going to be going to a lot of the camps and things like that. So we'll start discussing those, what you should be looking for, what I think you should be looking for anyway. And all of this is my opinion. So don't take it with a grain of salt. If you have some other adults in your world that are telling you something different, by all means, weigh it all. But all I want you to do is to be able to leverage your athletic ability and let it lead you to a remarkable life. That's all I want. And so if we get that done, I've done my job and I'll keep moving. I do have an e-commerce site coming up. Everybody always asks me, how are you giving the software away at no cost? So I have an e-commerce site up, but it's going to be about this thought process that we have, what we're trying to do. It's going to be a little bit different than everything else. It's not going to be what you would think a athletic player's website is. It's going to have some of that stuff, but we got some cool stuff that I came up with that I just think make the change. So anyway, stick with me, you guys. I hope you guys take this journey with us as we move forward, and we're not trying to change youth sports in the sense that everyone else is. There's the Youth Sports Alliance. They're doing some great work. All these guys are doing great work. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to parallel that. We're trying to say, okay, the journey is just as important as the destination. And even more than that, it's more important than, it's the most important thing is what happens after you've got to the last game you're going to play. You're walking back to that locker room. You're not going to come back out again. It's done. It could be a professional. It could be your college. It could be your high school years. Now what? And that's the question we're going to answer, because that's where your life becomes remarkable. All right, guys, as always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.